Am I the jerk if I back out of my best friend's wedding because the best man is my cheating ex-fiancé? Posted by you/Liathelium. Jump into the worst week of my life? I was with my ex-fiancé for 6 years, loved him with every fiber of my being, and had our wedding planned for August. I turned down a job offer so I could move with him for his next Air Force assignment. On Monday, a call girl from a website called Massage Republic texted him in the middle of the night, saying she was reaching out to old clients because she was back in the game. His phone was at my house while he was flying. I texted back, telling her she must have the wrong number. She said she didn't. In a rare moment of clarity, I pretended to be him instead of the jealous girlfriend, and the call girl gave me all the details. I'm such a fool, this had been happening under my nose for years. I confronted him. He claimed to be a sex addict and promised to change. I considered it for half a second and said no. Cue uncontrollable crying, self-doubt, a battery of STD tests, awkward encounters with him, a fight over the ring, and his mom, whom I loved, calling me non-stop, begging me to reconsider, on and on. And on top of all this, my best friend is marrying his best friend on May 11th. The groom doesn't want to rock the boat by picking a new best man. The bride says she has way too much on her plate and is begging me to just go through with it, promising to make it up to me. I've never hated a human being as much as I hate him. I can't be in the same room with him, let alone walk arm in arm with him. I understand that the whole wedding doesn't need to fall apart just because I'm upset, but I just want to skip it, spend the day downing the leftover Percocets from my wisdom tooth operation, F as many Tinder dudes as I can find who don't mind that I haven't showered, and burn all his crap. Would I be the jerk if I backed out of the wedding? Edit. Okay, guys, I don't know what the verdict is, but whether you voted you're the jerk or not the jerk and said I should go anyway to support my friend, we've been friends since before we were born, our moms were college roommates, your arguments were the most convincing. I'm going to suck it up, participate, have fun, and make my lock screen image the text from Panama where she said, "Remember, you like tonguing my bumhole?" So when I get sad, I have an instant reminder of who he really is. And then, when it's all over, I'm going to scream myself hoarse and beat the ever-living crap out of my pillows. If I can update a week from now, I will. I still have a lot of reading to do, so thank you all for commenting. Edit 2. Guys, I've had the worst week of my life and have been crying almost non-stop since 3 a.m. last Monday, or Tuesday, or whatever. I need to clear up people calling my best friend the jerk, that just isn't the case at all. I love her as much as I love any person on the planet, and she has my back. But this wedding is now a week away. It's not as simple as kicking me out or asking my ex-fiancé not to come. Everyone is furious with him, but only she, he, and I know the details about the call girls. My ex's parents, grandparents, and everyone else will be at the wedding. He's as close with the groom as I am with her. If they make big changes now, the day becomes about what he did, not about the wedding. It's not my place to demand that the groom change his best man, a week out, no less. Plus, like I said, he knows my ex cheated, but he doesn't know my ex was sleeping with prostitutes. If I bring that up, this whole week will become about that. My best friend and her groom being jerks isn't even an option on the table. They didn't do anything wrong and are just reacting with the best information they have. My friend has even offered to let me and my ex-fiancé walk in with other people or separately, but I'm not going to do that. First of all, because I think it will look weird. And secondly, because I foresee getting a sick sense of satisfaction from touching him one last time, forever, and having him know that the spark he feels could have been forever come August, but he screwed it up. Update 2 days later. Is it possible for a cheater to change? This is almost an indescribable situation because if you had asked me last Sunday, I would have told you I had a perfect relationship. Monday night, he was flying, he's a pilot in the Air Force, and had left his phone at my house. In the middle of the night, it buzzed. It was a call girl named Panama who had quit for a while and was reaching out to old clients because she needed money. I logged into his phone, we share passwords on almost everything, and initially told her she had the wrong number, but far too much of what she said was identifiable to him. I confronted him when he got home, and he didn't try to deny it at all. He confessed that he had seen 2 separate call girls for about a year, sometimes at the same time. He claims he's a sex addict and has been in treatment for about a year. I knew he was in counseling, but I thought it was for grief over a friend of his dying overseas. He promises me that he hasn't seen either of the girls for 18 months and that it's the only time he's ever cheated in the 6 years we've been together. Last week, I was livid. I couldn't stand to be around him, lest I might do things I would regret. Last night, in a moment of weakness, I called him because I just wanted to hear it from him one more time, why he did it, why he needed call girls. I was so open to trying anything in bed, just why? And the truth is, I miss him so much it's killing me, so a part of me just wanted to hear his voice and know that he's alive in this world. We ended up having the friendliest conversation we've had since I found out, over the course of about 4 hours. The reality is, I still love him. I love everything about him, except the call girls part. He's broken over this, he's taken himself off the flying schedule, in the middle of his instructor upgrade, which may very well be a career staller, and he's doubled up on his counseling sessions. He hasn't lied to me, he hasn't yelled at me, he hasn't blamed me for anything. I guess if there's a right way for a cheater to act, he's doing it. All of this is complicated because we are scheduled to be maid of honor/best man in our respective best friends' wedding this coming Saturday. Both of us agree that we don't want our drama to get in the way of their big day, so while we aren't going together, we are going to put on our happy faces for the 4 minutes we have to be around each other. But I'm worried I'm going to break when I see him tall, glorious, and handsome in his tux. I am so devastated. I don't know what to do. I miss him more than I miss any other person, but I also hate him more than I hate any other person. What in the hell should I do? Can a cheater ever change? Second update 6 days later. I've logged into this throwaway a couple of times over the past weekend, honest to God, have 50 DMs and comments asking me to update, so here goes. Some of you may also know that my story got featured on major news websites and blogs. It was crazy. I left way too much identifiable info in my post, so pretty much my entire social circle knew it was me, and that was also how most everyone figured out my ex had been cheating. We had a meeting among the 4 of us to decide whether or not to proceed. We pretty much agreed that not showing up would cause more drama and whispers than if we did, so we decided to be civil and stay in our respective places. But having to spend that hour or so in the same room with him just filled me with adrenaline and pure rage. That led into the bachelorette party that night, where I got freaking hammered and, honest to God, made out with so many guys while dancing that I can't even count. I also ended up having my first one-night stand ever with a 20-year-old, super cute guy from our university's wrestling team who was so sweet. I'm not proud of doing that, but I'm also not ashamed either because it made me feel desirable, almost like I was going into the wedding day and rehearsal with some parody, like, hey, I can be naughty too. X and I were, of course, paired up at rehearsal, and I hate to admit this, but we had an absolute blast with each other. It wasn't a mistake that we had such a great and fun relationship, we are very compatible. It probably also worked because we were able to put the issue aside and focus on something else. The wedding was very much the same way. We walked arm in arm down the aisle with big, beaming, and genuine smiles because we were there for our friends. I had prepared a really nasty maid of honor toast that would have praised my friend and her loving relationship, loyalty, and truthfulness. I even included a line about never knowing who might call in the middle of the night, but as the reception wore on, I could tell the weight of the situation was really getting to my ex, and I felt like I didn't need to twist the knife any further, so I gave a nice but very generic toast instead. As the night went on, my ex became more and more withdrawn, sitting by himself, either on his phone or with his head in his hands. I didn't want people talking about him, so I asked him to dance with me, which was actually really nice since neither of us said anything. At the end of it, he put his hands around my face like he was going to kiss me, and I would have totally let him, in that moment, but just whispered how sorry he was and walked away. I got distracted, and when I turned around, he had apparently left the reception. I hate myself for it, but I was so sad to see him go. This wedding was literally the last thing we ever had to do with each other. There's no expectation of Game of Thrones Sundays or Bloody Mary brunches with his mom. We won't argue over how bad IPA beer smells or who forgot to put gas in the car. The reality of him just being able to leave without me arguing that I'm not ready to go yet, classic introvert/extrovert pairing here, sunk in, that this is over. Like, over. I went and cried uncontrollably in the hotel kitchen until the bride found me, and we cried together for a good half an hour. At that moment, I knew I had made the right choice by being there for my friend. So that's that. The wedding is over and done with. No real drama, just lots and lots of hurt feelings and a huge broken heart that I'm not sure will ever heal. I wish I could just turn off loving him, but it's not going to happen. Edit. Last word on this, guys, and I really, honestly, just want to say thank you. This sub has been such an amazing place and absolutely coaxed me into the right decision. Thank you so much for the words of encouragement. I will move on. I know I will. Right now, it's so fresh, and I just keep thinking, God, if you hadn't been up that night worrying about work, you never would have seen the text come in, and you'd be ignorant to all of this, and happy. But that's not healthy because wishing to live an uninformed and ignorant life is never what I wanted. Anyway, I'm indulging in self-pity, and I don't want to do that anymore. This has been a crazy ride, and I just want to say thank you. And Fox News, you kinda suck.